Let's call the meeting to order tonight at 6 o'clock, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The district mission statement. The mission of the Exeter West Greenwich Regional School District is to empower students to dream, reach, and succeed. Open forum, 3-minute time limit for individual, 15-minute maximum time allowed for open forum. Comments must be directed to the chairperson of the school committee, who may limit or terminate a discussion. No comment should address personnel, litigation, or negotiations as restricted by open meeting regulations. The school committee cannot take action or vote on topics introduced that are not reflected on the agenda. Anyone online? Lee? No? Okay. All right, moving on to routine items, please.
Okay, under consent, we have the approval of the regular meeting minutes and executive session minutes from October 25th. We have one athletic resignation and the monthly bills. That's all. And
So,
if I could just say, there was something that was put on the table. There was a question last meeting about the net meter credits. So we have a written explanation that we had not received the credits before the bill came, but they are on the second page of that document. They are not billing us for this month either, because they're having an issue with the transfer of the credits, and they're working on resolving that issue, and will bill us after the issue is resolved. So we should see, it was just a matter of the timing of when the metering credits hit us, but we should see a double when we get the next bill.
Okay.
But we wanted to provide that for you in writing, given that that was a question last time.
any questions? If anything to be pulled from the consent agenda? All right, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Correspondence?
There is none.
No. Budget projection, budget projection.
The budget projection was included in the packet. Let's hear the final for
22.
22, and we have a new projection for 23. So this is a unaudited balance, as you know. The auditors, she just left me, actually. So we don't have the final figures yet, but we left 22 with a strong fund balance going into 23. You can see that the unaudited unassigned general fund balance is the combination of the close of 22's unassigned general fund balance of 787,261 plus the 2% set aside of 674,025. That is how we arrived at unassigned general fund balance, beginning balance, unaudited for 23. So that's about it. Yeah.
Any questions? Monthly status reports.
I have a question. I saw the, oh, wait, is it already on? Wait,
Questions?
Sure, I asked, I said any questions, but okay,
Everybody's good.
all right.
Okay.
Monthly status? No monthly status?
Well, I mean,
Not really?
yeah, we typically just answer
Just have
questions.
Yeah. All right.
So,
I didn't know if there's anything else that was pending out there from last time. All right. The new business. 2022-23 school committee presentation schedule.
so this typically comes to the school committee for a vote, and basically, each school will take a turn in presenting to the school committee as they've done every year. And this just represents the schedule that we've worked out with the building principals.
Any questions? If not, I'll make a motion to approve the 22-23 school committee presentation schedule as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. All right, now review and authorize acceptance of proposals for Westerly Community Credit Union teacher grants.
So these should be the last two. The first one is, let me just make sure I do this in the correct order. Oh, my librarian is a third grader, so this is a Metcalf grant. And she spells out, you know, what she's looking for. It's a pretty good project for the kids. This has been reviewed by the treasurer, which is required by policy, and we've already signed off on it, given that the grants were due by November 1st, but we can pull it if the school committee does not approve.
Jim, just the books along with summaries and student reviews will be distributed to students. Will that be in private? Like it's only going to students in need, so I don't know that.
Oh, yes,
Okay,
yes.
just, we know how kids can be sometimes.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they already have a list that's generated of kids that,
Yeah, I just didn't know how they're going to be distributed. That's my fact, that it's on private.
Any other questions about the librarian one? All right, Buddy, you make the motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve or to accept the proposal for the Westwood Community Credit Union teacher grant. My librarian is a third grader, Metcalf Elementary School.
I second. All those in favor? Aye. Right. The next one is Smart Carts, also at Metcalf Elementary School.
so this is from the math specialists, and it's really about supporting children in math instruction throughout the school. So they've done a really remarkable job. I know at the next meeting, I'll be presenting on the updated test scores, and I think you'll be really impressed with what we're seeing at Metcalf, particularly in math. So this is, you know, just to kind of further what they've already started doing in the building.
Any questions regarding Smart Carts?
I'll make a motion to authorize acceptance of proposal for the Westwood Community Credit Union teacher grant, Smart Carts, Metcalf Elementary School.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Unfinished business, capital projects and October open enrollment.
So the capital projects are, I kind of alluded to that in my status report, so just go back there, sorry. I have a tentative meeting date out, waiting for all the capital project building committee members to respond to their availability for November 17th, Thursday, November 17th. That is pretty much, other than what is in the status report, the roofing project is coming along at a steady pace. Stephen Bailey reports every morning. He goes over every day and checks on the progress and comes and checks in with me every day to let me know how everything is going over there. As you can see, the site work is coming along very nicely. And the general construction contractor, Tower, is collaborating with Cardi to get the trenches dug for the electricity and the water lines for the new greenhouse before the paving takes place. And I mean, it's, we've had preliminary steps of Tower being in this building, going through the auditorium, picking out swatches for the chairs, the seats, and the carpeting tile for the science lab. So everything is really starting to happen. It's really going to be taking shape soon. So looks good.
Any questions on capital project updates? Okay,
So the October 1, we have a draft in your packet this evening, and we did include the item that you requested, Member McFadden, for the EWG CTE students. And we're still working with the towns on ironing out some of the wrinkles with the student enrollment list that they were provided. But we should have a final draft available for the next meeting.
I think we have gotten some questions. We've been able to respond to them really quickly, but there's still a couple of families that we have some questions on that we're working through.
Mhm.
But it's really down to under a handful at this point. So I expect us to have a final draft much earlier than we've been able to have one over the last couple of years.
So I have a question on the population. CTE number, which was 32.
Mhm.
So looking at this tuition value, CTE tuition, right? It's, so the budget projection is 349,377, right? So I'm trying to work backwards, but it's difficult for me to work in any direction, not knowing what the Department of Ed, what you told the committee, assigns for a value cost for an outside school to send a child here. So, so there's budgeted, projected, and I don't know how up to date budgeted versus projected at the same number. So how does,
I can answer that. So that's not an easy division problem, because the way that RIDE assigns the tuition value, it depends on the town where the kids are coming from. So the tuition that we are collecting varies from student to student based on what town they are coming to us from. In terms of the budget projection that that we reviewed earlier, that is based on the number of students that we predicted would be coming to us at the time that this budget was developed, and the budget was approved last April, right? We actually have more students who have come to us than we projected. So when we do a correction, you will see that the revenue for CTE students will exceed what we projected for the 21-22 school year, 22-23 school year, I mean. You will also see that the expense that we projected for kids who have enrolled outside of the district is also going to be a little bit higher. The net will be positive, but we had more students that came in than what we projected, and we had more students that left than we projected. And the net will be a positive result, but we have not worked that into the budget at this point, because we usually wait a couple of months to confirm that the children are actually going to stay. Typically in the first couple of months of school, kids that either came to us from another district, oftentimes they don't want to stay because they miss the school that they came from and they decide to go back, and the same thing happens in the reverse. So we typically want to wait a couple of months to confirm that they're actually staying before we start projecting, you know, an increase in revenue and an increase in expenses based on the kids that have come and the kids that have left us.
Did the Rhode Island Department of Education ever share, or do you know what the reason why? It seems to quite the contrary. I would assume that our costs, regardless of where a student comes from, would be fixed. Did they ever share why it would vary?
So it's, I mean, in a way, yes, it's really based on the cost to educate a child in the sending, from the sending community, because they don't want to charge more than what the child would cost in their district of residence. So we end up collecting less, much less from certain communities than we do from others, and vice versa. We pay more when we send them out because our cost is a little bit higher.
So is the cost, one more time at this, and I'm just gonna accept the fact that I don't understand. So what would be the rationale? I'm still having trouble with the rationale, like if they come from East Providence, for example, and they're assigned X and they come from Providence and it's X plus 2. Is it based on, what was the rationale again? I mean, I don't understand.
It has to do with the cost of educating a child in the town where they originated.
Oh, is that right? Don't you
Yes.
think it should be the other way around? In other words, where they would be actually educated? All right,
Seems logical, but it's not the way it's done.
sure. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, important dates and meetings, Tuesday, November 22nd, school committee meeting, Tuesday, December 6th, school committee meeting, organizational meeting.
No, it's okay.
No executive.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, her motion to adjourn. All those in favor?